Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwander, and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Lucia Marchese. Welcome, Lucia.
Thank you.
What is your title?
I head up marketing for the corporate liquidity and energy group at SunGard Financial Systems.
So how has the SunGard Way of Selling affected your job?
The marketing group supports the sales organization by providing them various tools, thought leadership content. So the transformation has really allowed marketing to produce additional content, additional domain expertise type content. We work a little bit more closely with our product teams and some of the external market leaders to really bring forward insights that our sales teams can use to have meaningful dialogue with their customers and their prospects.
So you create a lot of content for the sales organization. How did that content trickle down to the salesperson, and how does it go to the customer, and how do you get feedback from that?
Sure. So we'll conduct, for instance, a market study. So we recently did a market study, for instance, on the evolution of shared service centers in corporate finance and accounting. So during the course of that market study, we actually gathered, close to 400 different responses from various entities. Of course, those actual responses become qualified leads, more or less, so we can hand those off as they're answering different questions in that study. But then more importantly, we take the study contents and we work with our internal thought leaders, our internal subject matter experts, and then we even get external opinion and analysis of the results, combine that together, and we can create some meaningful content that not only allows our sales team to go out there and speak to their customers in a meaningful way, but it also allows them to understand a little bit more the market needs, the market demands, so we can adjust how we're selling and who we're even selling to.
So how does the information get back to you once the salesperson has presented that to their customers?
A lot of it's actually been done through dialogue. As we move forward and some of the new tools that we're putting into place, they're going to allow us to have increased collaboration, increased feedback loops. So for instance, the more that one person uses a piece of content, that piece of content then becomes rated at a higher rate, so other salespeople can see, oh, well, so-and-so's using this piece a lot. Let me go look at that. Maybe that's something I should be using. They can leave comments for each other, and then they can even start discussion threads amongst themselves where not only the sales team's talking, but also the subject matter experts can get in on the dialogue.
So when you get together with industry peers and they ask you, what is the SunGard way of selling? What answer do you usually give them?
I think to summarize, we really do try to lead with domain expertise. It is a core differentiator for SunGard Financial Systems. Even if you look at the employee base, the vast majority of the people that are at SunGard have come from financial backgrounds. We even have a lot of people that are actually practitioners who have previously been customers. So having that level of, we get you, we understand you, and then try to bring them insightful, meaningful ways of looking at their role in a different way and looking at how technology can really help them take their organization forward in whatever realm that might be.
So how would you describe the difference between what happened 18 months ago versus what is happening today?
It's still definitely an evolution. I wouldn't say, it's fundamentally different and everyone's completely changed. But I think that if I was to sort of say a couple indicators, early indicators of how things have changed, I think we're spending a lot more time at discovery. I think we're spending a lot more time talking to the market, talking to the customers. And I think that the sales team is thinking a lot more about how they can customize each conversation they have.
How would you describe how sales and marketing alignment has changed because of your new initiatives?
I think that one of the things is because you have a feedback loop with the sales organization as to what are they actually using, what do they find actually helpful and revenue generating, I think it lets marketing really know where to focus our efforts rather than creating content upon content that may never actually be used, that might be absolutely absurd to be used even. So really looking at what they're picking up, what they're using, and then just focusing on that. So it actually gives us more time to really focus on what works versus trying to do everything for everyone.
So are you saying because you get better feedback from the field, you are in the position to create better messages for the sales organization?
Yes.
So it becomes sort of a self-reinforcing feedback loop.
Correct. And then the other aspect of that is having better access to data, better access to metadata around the prospect base. So for instance, not just looking at the entire universe, but looking at the universe and then honing in on key indicators that may be, for instance, within their financial statements that indicate to us that they are basically a really good candidate for our services and our solutions, and then basically spoon feeding that back out to the sales force rather than just asking them to either wait and engage in an RFP-driven sale, but from the prospecting point of view, to really pointing them towards those customers or those prospects that have the most propensity to buy.
So what have you observed when you look at salespeople going through a change initiative like that that's really massive?
I think it's really important that right away you give tangible, actionable results, something that they actually can go do something with versus saying, oh, we have yet another approach to how to sell, something they've actually been doing quite well for years, decades. So I think the very first thing at least we tried to do was not overwhelm them with principles and academia, but rather give them some tangible, actionable tools they can use that really will help them.
Can you share a story how all those changes have enhanced your ability to deliver more value to the customer or to the community?
The way we're going to be measuring the success of this program and what we've been doing is if we can prove out that we have done two things. One is shorten the sales cycle, for sure. If we can accelerate the process that we go through, and even if that's an acceleration to a no, so being able to really weed out what's a real deal, what's not, and then accelerate that process. And then the second part to this is if you look at our pipeline, and I think this is probably true for most companies, we're not losing deals to competition. We're losing deals to indecision. So really what you need to do is find a way to make compelling statements, make compelling arguments, and then learn how to sell those up within the organization. So the approach to selling goes well beyond the sales organization, and that's a responsibility of the entire organization to be out there from a social media perspective, from a market engagement perspective, proactively basically pushing forward ourselves with our key messages, one of which obviously is that we're domain experts.
So what are you going to do to stay competitive and stay on the leading edge?
Well, like I mentioned before, I do think that we can help out our sales organization by giving them improved business intelligence and automation. I feel like we're still a little bit behind on those two fronts from a supportive perspective. So I think we can support them better with more tools that really help them refine who they're chasing and when they're chasing them. I think timing around it as well.
Lucia, thank you very much. It was a very enlightening conversation. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.